More than 2 months after he first hinted he would make an endorsement in the tight Texas runoff for the Senate seat here, President Trump has waded in.
Yeah, he's putting his support behind Attorney General Ken Paxton with 1 week until Election Day. In studio, Fox 4's Stephen Dial with the details. Stephen.
For months, it's been a battle of who can be the most pro-Trump candidate in this race. And after months of staying on the sidelines, this morning, President Trump endorsing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. In a post on social media, President Trump said, "John Cornyn is a good man, but said he was not supportive of me when times were tough." This goes back to the drama after the 2020 election. Paxton helped lead some of the legal challenges seeking to overturn the results of the 2020 election. On January 6th, Ken Paxton was at the rally before the storming on the U.S. Capitol. Meanwhile, around that time, Cornyn said that Trump's time had passed him. Since those remarks, Cornyn has been in lockstep with President Trump, only voting against him in one key vote. We heard from Paxton and Cornyn after the endorsement.
I'm so honored to have President Trump's endorsement. His endorsement, in my opinion, is the most significant endorsement in my lifetime. So when he endorses, it has a tremendous impact. We're already doing really well, but certainly I have so much respect for the president and so appreciate his endorsement. And I think it creates a slight bit of momentum, don't you?
We've always had these family fights within the Republican Party, and then we unify in order to win the election in November. And we'll do that again. But I believe that in terms of our success in November, that Ken Paxton would be an albatross around the neck of our candidates and would likely lose to James Tallarico. I think we've come too far and worked too hard to risk that.
Right. You just heard from John Cornyn. I talked to SMU political scientist Matthew Wilson about if the Trump endorsement will greatly impact this race.
But I don't think it entirely seals the deal. A lot of people's attitudes towards both of these candidates are already pretty baked in. Early voting has already begun. We see that in March, John Cornyn ended up outperforming his polls by about 5 points or so. So he's still got a puncher's chance. That said, he came into today as a bit of an underdog. He comes out of today a little bit more of an underdog.
Some Republican leaders had been pushing the president to endorse Cornyn. Their concern has been that Paxton would be a more vulnerable candidate in November because of his past legal issues and Cornyn's ability to draw in more moderate voters. We'll have to find out what the outcome is. Early voting continues this week, and the runoff election day, guys, is next Tuesday.
Yeah, so we'll know soon enough. Stephen Dial in studio. Stephen, thank you.